The world #1 has fallen, and in straight sets, no less. The shockwaves had barely settled. Defending champion Swiatek, out. World #2 Rybakina, out. And now the very summit of women's tennis, world #1 Aryna Sabalenka, has packed her bags on the Wimbledon grass too. The player who brought her down, a name that once ruled the world but had spent a long time away from the top, Naomi Osaka. And on the same day, on the other side of the grounds, one man quietly rewrote history, Novak Djokovic. From now on, the record for most Wimbledon match wins sits next to his name, not Roger Federer's. July 5th, a day that shook Wimbledon. Let's break down the results, the stories behind them, and how the players reacted, one at a time. First, the headline of the day, Naomi Osaka vs Aryna Sabalenka. Osaka is a four-time major champion, but her recent record against Sabalenka was grim, 3 straight losses. On top of that, Sabalenka is the current world #1. On paper, it was Osaka who was the underdog. But the match that unfolded on center court flipped that expectation completely on its head. The score, 6-2, 7-6, a clean, straight sets victory. Osaka took the first set 6-2 with ease, and then closed out the tight second by dominating the tiebreak, 7-2. Let's put the weight of this into numbers. This was the first straight sets defeat Sabalenka had suffered at a Grand Slam since 2020, more than 5 years. And at the same time, Osaka snapped that 3-match losing streak against her. And for Osaka personally, this win is a milestone. She reached the Wimbledon quarterfinals for the very first time in her career. The player once known as a hard-court queen just beat the world #1 on the surface long considered her biggest weakness and booked her place in the second week. So how did Osaka manage to dominate the world #1 like this? The key comes down to a single word: power. Normally, Sabalenka is the one who bullies opponents with raw force, but on this day, those roles were completely reversed. Osaka's serve and ground strokes pushed Sabalenka back, and it was the world #1 who ended up on the defensive. And it was Sabalenka herself who admitted this most honestly. She overpowered me. It was an incredible level from her. The world #1, describing the level of the player who beat her as incredible, a single line that captured just how flawless Osaka was that day. With this result, the women's singles title race has been blown wide open. The defending champion, the world #2, and now the world #1. One by one, the names tipped to win it all have vanished, and in that space, an old queen named Osaka stands tall once again. What became almost as big a talking point as the match itself was Osaka's on-court interview. For the first time in a long while, she looked like she was genuinely having fun. Osaka opened like this: "It's been a long time since I've had so much fun on the court, and to do it here, it really means a lot." And she directly addressed the losing streak that had haunted her. "Going into this match, I lost to her 3 times in a row, so that really sucked. I wanted to turn it over, and I'm really glad I had the opportunity to do that." Just as striking was how she seemed to savor the match itself, rather than obsess over the result. "I think it was a really fun match. I am really grateful. Even if I lost, I would still think it was a great match." And she didn't forget her team, or her trademark humor. Giving a nod to her coach, she joked, "The big Polish man, shout out Tomasz." And added, with a laugh, "My team is the best team ever." The highlight was a line aimed at her mother in the stands. Osaka said the driving force behind her wins was her mom's Japanese home cooking. "So Mom, I would really appreciate another meal tonight." Hearing this from the stands, her mother formed a heart with her hands in response. The whole court melted into laughter. Now let's turn to the men's singles. On the same day, Novak Djokovic quietly, but decisively, rewrote history. Djokovic beat Russian qualifier Roman Saffiolin in 4 sets, 7-6, 6-3, 3-6, 6-3, to reach the quarterfinals. He wobbled briefly, dropping the third set, but ultimately closed out the match with sheer experience. But this victory carries a special number, 106. It was Djokovic's 106th career singles win at Wimbledon. With it, he surpassed Roger Federer's men's singles record of 105 wins. The all-time men's singles record now belongs to Djokovic. Across both the men's and women's events, the only player with more singles wins here is Martina Navratilova, with 120. At 39 years old, this win sent Djokovic into his 17th Wimbledon quarterfinal, and his 9th in a row. What was interesting was his own reaction. "It's not on my priority list. I didn't even know about it until after the last match win. That's really quite insignificant to me at the moment." In other words, his eyes are still fixed not on records, but on one thing only: the trophy. The other pillar of the men's draw, defending champion and world #1 Jannik Sinner, joined the quarterfinals without a hitch. Sinner beat Japanese qualifier Shintaro Mochizuki 6-3, 7-6, 6-3. As the 7-love second set tiebreak shows, it was a rock-solid performance built on his serve. After the win, Sinner didn't forget to pay respect to his beaten opponent. "The first time we played, I didn't know what to expect. He's an incredible player. And this victory is heading toward a scenario tennis fans have been counting down to, a semi-final clash between Djokovic and Sinner. The 39-year-old legend who just set a new all-time wins record against the reigning world #1 and defending champion. If both keep winning, Wimbledon gets a generation-spanning blockbuster." Let's wrap it up. Wimbledon on July 5 was a day where collapse and coronation lived side by side. The fall of world #1 Sabalenka and the revival of an old queen, Osaka, with her smile back. On one side, Djokovic climbed past Federer to the very peak of history, while Sinner walks steadily toward that same history. The women's draw is now wide open, with its favorites largely gone, and the men's draw is teasing a Djokovic versus Sinner collision. Who do you think will be left standing as champion in this wide-open field? Osaka, chasing the summit once again, or another rising star? Drop your prediction in the comments. And if you want to see where this drama goes next, hit subscribe and turn on notifications.